yes. All right. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back to Respect the Court. I'm your host, Otto, and today's going to be a short episode. Uh, this is more of a I wonder if. I'm going to start these every once in a while. I'm going to have like a segment where I'm going to call, or just like a particular episode where I'm just going to call I wonder if. So, here's a question that I'm going to pose. I've been wondering lately, basketball. We're in September now, late September. I'm pretty sure at some point training camp is going to start in the next 2 to 3 weeks, if not already. And the start of the season will be among us once we get to mid to late October. And it's great. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of storylines to look forward to. Of course, Paul George being in Philadelphia. How's it going to be playing in that system, playing with Joel Embiid? You got Klay Thompson in Dallas. You got Buddy Hield with the Warriors and a few other new attributes as well. How are these things going to play out? But that is not the question I have for today. That's not it for today. That's not what I was thinking about. What I was thinking about was, have we made it to a point in basketball, NBA, professional, top level, highest level of basketball, have we reached a point where we will never, never, okay, maybe never is a strong word, right? Maybe in the next 15 years, 20 years, that we may never see another three-peat champion. We just won't see it. I'm talking for the next 15, 20 years. We just may not see a three-peat. I mean, let's be honest. The last three-peat team was the Los Angeles Lakers with Kobe Bryant, rest his soul, and Shaquille O'Neal. That was the last three-peat. And it wasn't like they were playing against some scrubs. Like, it was high-level basketball. This was 90s, early 2000s basketball. So, it was very physical. More of a half-court setting. You had to run good plays, especially with the triangle offense running by Phil. And you had, at the time, the Lakers going against the Indiana Pacers with an older Reggie Miller, but he had a well-stacked team. Not going to get into the specifics of that team, but it was a stacked team, I feel. Then after that, you had the New Jersey Nets. And then they also played, I believe, if I recall, right, they played against, oh gosh, yeah, 76ers. Against Allen Iverson. How could I forget? And that was a great series. I mean, no one expected 76ers to win. No, not at all. But Allen Iverson made sure that was no sweep going to happen. Not at all. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. That's not the point. The point is, are we ever going to see this again? Are we going to see a three-peat? I don't think we will. I don't think we will. Teams are too good now. And let's be honest, the way that anything can happen with injuries and free agency, uh, people move all over the place now. I mean, let's be honest. Money talks, right? If I'm getting to the end of my contract, or if I want to create a commotion and cause some static to get myself out of a contract, I am going to find my way out of a contract. We've seen James Harden do it. We've seen other players do it. They won't go to training camp, or they have a surgery just before the season starts, knowing good and daggone well you could have done that earlier. You had the entire summer. Matter of fact, your season was done in May. You mean to tell me after 3 months you couldn't opt to do some kind of surgery or any kind of recovery, any kind of treatment, any kind of physical therapy to get yourself back into place? And yeah, again, getting off topic. That's not the point. But the point is, I just don't see it. And you know what? To be honest with you, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Seeing one team dominate year after year is fun, especially if it's your team. But I do feel that at some point, either teams are not adjusting the way they should to knock the Kings off their throne, or ownership is getting lazy and they don't want to pay the right people. Number two. Or number three, during the three-peat eras of, you know, the Chicago Bulls, Scottie and Michael, and the Los Angeles Lakers with Kobe and Shaq, you didn't have big names move around that often. You just didn't. You had you had your superstar, you had your all-star or two all-stars, and you just had your role players surrounding them, and you just went with what you had, and that was about it. You traded in and out your all-stars. I'm sorry, you traded in and out your role players because you had to have the right kind of bench. You had to have the right kind of six man coming off the bench. You had to have the right starting five to complement your superstar players, right? And no one was moving around like they were. It just wasn't happening like that back then. So if you had the formula for success, it was very difficult to beat that, knowing that it was difficult to get free agents to come to your team, to come to your market. So I don't see it. I really don't see it. And also, teams are just so much better than they used to be. Not to say that teams were bad back then, but just now, every team has 3 point shooting. Every team has schemes for the most part. Although a lot of these offenses run the same way, but whatever. Um, the talent is there. It just requires the motivation. But yeah, I can't see one team winning an NBA championship 3 consecutive seasons in a row. Not anymore. That's just not going to happen. I think it was a special time in the NBA to see that kind of dominance. It was fun to see teams try to emulate the team to try to beat. Doesn't always work. They tried it with the Chicago Bulls. Here's the thing: you can't emulate Michael. You just can't do that. They tried it with Shaq and Kobe, trying to have the 1-2 punch. It just didn't work because Shaq is Shaq, one of the most dominant centers that we've ever seen. So unless you have two players who are in their prime, number one, number two, get along, putting egos aside and doing what's best for the team. And number three, have the motivation season after season to want to go for that championship, then yeah, I just don't see it. I really don't. But here's something else to throw at you all as well. I also believe that we might, not for sure, but we might see a decline in back-to-back championships. I really do feel that the NBA is going to start to be a lot more like the NFL, where you'll get a champion and then the next season you just get a different champion. It's rare in football to have a back-to-back Super Bowl champion. It just doesn't happen that often. I mean, clearly, the injuries, players moving around, the egos, like that's just tough to do, to keep a unit like that together. We're talking about 69 to 80 plus guys on a roster, all staying healthy year in and year out. And we're talking about football, one of the most brutal sports out there. I mean, I've seen times where you had a healthy team, and then after week 6, half the team is injured. Yeah, like that just doesn't happen in football. Basketball, yeah, you generally want to run it back, right? You want to show people this is not a fluke. We legitimately won, and we're going to do it again. But again, like I said, teams are getting better. Players are getting better. However you want to, however you want to slice it, dice it, however you want to put that together in terms of how a player is better now than back then. Maybe, maybe not. Again, it depends. But yeah, I truly think there's going to be a decline in back-to-back championships. Back-to-back championships. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and look at the last 10 seasons of NBA champions. All right, bear with me now. So, of course, we just had last season, 2023-2024, with the Boston Celtics. 2022-2023, Denver Nuggets. 2021-2022, Golden State Warriors. 2020-2021, the Milwaukee Bucks. 2019-2020, the Los Angeles Lakers. 2018 to 2019, the Toronto Raptors. 2017 to 2018, the Golden State Warriors, and the 2016-2017 season, Golden State Warriors. So we're looking at 6 seasons where there was not a team that won back to back, right? Now, some could argue that the Golden State Warriors winning it in 2017, 2018, and 2016, 2017, they had Kevin Durant. You kind of had a cheat code. I don't care. Basketball is basketball. You play whoever's in front of you, right? It is what it is. But if you go back further in time, if you go back, let's go back. That was, wait, did I do all 10 years? I didn't even do all 10 years yet. I'm sorry. All right. And then you had the Cleveland Cavaliers, 2015, 2016. Then you had the Warriors, 2014, 2015. Then you had the Spurs, 2013, 2014 season. Then you had the Miami Heat, 2012, 2013, and 2011 and 2012. That was the other back to back. So the two back to backs in the last 12 to 14 years, even those were only about 4 years apart, 4 seasons apart. We're going to see this, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see a decline in the number of back to back championships that you're going to see in the NBA. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I've already told you all I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. Have been since I was 11 years old, 12 years old. And I mean, of course, I'm delusional. I want to see them win every single year. But I know they're not going to. They're just not. Because personnel changes, coaches change, management changes. It just doesn't happen like that. You can't keep winning as much as you want them to. Like I said, players move around left and right. The Los Angeles Clippers had a great chance to at least compete for a title, contend for a title. They couldn't keep that together. Injuries to Kawhi, injuries to Paul George, personnel changes in and out left and right. 1 year, you don't have Russell Westbrook. Now you do. 1 year, you don't have James Harden. Now you do. You're trying to figure them all out. All four of these players playing with each other. You think at least you get pretty deep in the playoffs. Doesn't work out. So this is what I'm saying. I think the era of back-to-backs, for now, is going to be over. Now, who knows? Boston might do it. They have the motivation. I feel they may have a chip on their shoulder, right? We saw what happened with the Olympics. We saw what happened this past summer. I mean, in the end, all that matters is that the gold was won, right? But, I mean, from a personal level, if I'm Jason Tatum, I'm sitting there thinking, like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm an NBA champion. I'm out here doing my thing, too. I train just as hard as these other guys. And you're only going to give me 3 minutes a game to play if I even play at all? Now, who knows? It could have been a mismatch issue. It could have been a play style issue. Whatever. It worked out the way it had to work out. But I'm just saying. It could be a motivation. It could be a chip on the shoulder. Jaylen Brown had an opportunity to come in for Kawhi Leonard. Instead, it was Derek White. I didn't really have a problem with that. There were issues with his stance on Nike, which I feel, what does that have to do with him representing Team USA? Team USA should be, it shouldn't even matter that a conglomerate is part of this. Like, you're representing the United States in basketball. You're not representing the United States in terms of corporations. None of that should matter. But, I feel like they outed him for that, and, that's whatever. Anyhow, that's my take. I told you it wasn't going to be a long one. That is my take. I really do believe that over the next 10, 12, maybe even 15 years, we're not going to see as many back-to-backs as we were used to seeing in the last 10 to 12 years. Just not. Again, teams have gotten better. Talent is shifting all over the place. And there's also the demand for money. Like, certain teams are just not going to pay you. Certain teams are. Certain teams don't want to win a championship over and over again. Some do. I don't know why a team would not want to win a championship over and over again, because that gives you endorsements, that gives you TV rights. And anyway, that's for another time. But anyhow, that's my question. Will we ever see it again? Maybe. Not as frequently. But just something to think about. Something to take into consideration as we go into the NBA season. I'll be intrigued. I can't wait. All right. Until next time, respect the court. See y'all on the next one. Peace.